Hey guys, this is Killrob speaking, and in today's Little Dev Update we are going to talk about today's release of the first version, the first very rough version of the Lite Campaign V3. It is somewhat done, and as you can see, neither challenges nor sandbox are available, and here we have a blank slate campaign. This version of the campaign is opt-in only. And that means that you will have to manually access it via your Steam library by right-clicking the game in there and then going to the beta properties, then the betas tab, and then select the LC V3 test branch. How to play this version of the game will be explained in a separate tutorial video I'm going to embark on making in a few minutes. That video will also be available through the tutorials button if everything works out as intended. Beyond that tutorial video, I'm probably also going to make a Let's Play series of this version of the Lite campaign, but that one will be a little less focused on actually learning the game and more a quest for entertainment as well as balancing the game and finding all kinds of issues, as that seems to be my job. Because this Little Dev Update is not about showing you how that campaign is working, I can now talk about some more equally interesting things, like the development timeline. And for that, let me quickly just pull something up. This is our release timeline for this big update, the Lite Campaign V3. It is by no means done, and currently, or at least this morning, we still had 240 unsolved issues on our to-do list to make this thing whole. And during the day a few more popped up, a few others were struck off the list. So there's plenty of more things to do, but let's have a look here. So today is our first opt-in Lite Campaign V3 release, and tomorrow, if necessary, if there are any big bugs that are absolutely game-breaking, we are going to put out another patch. That is on the 22nd of December. Then Santa is coming, and we are out of office for about a week and a half and have a wee bit of holidays. But we'll be back in office on the 2nd of January, and we will have a first patch ready for you on the 4th. The week thereafter, we are starting a normal development, like polishing up cycle for this big update, and that means about 1 to 2 patches each week, and there will be a lot of balancing and UI work being done, as well as a bit more content added, as well as plenty of fixes coming to the game, until it is a lot more polished. And then the next big step is on the 18th of January. We are going to add back in the sandbox and the exporter, as well as the new modding tools. And you might be wondering, why aren't they in this version right now? The simple answer is we had to switch game engine. Well, it's still Unreal, obviously, but instead of 4.17.2, we are now on 4.21.0. And that new version has a fix to the garbage collector, which was causing all kinds of troubles for some of you who had seemingly random crashes. And that code where it crashed in actually no longer exists. So we hope for the best that that is now actually gone. We don't have any means of testing it ourselves because we never experienced this bug properly in the first place. So for the sandbox and the exporter, we are coming with the new features that are already in the sandbox in the campaign mode, new content, plenty of new car bodies again, and some new fixtures as well. And for the exporter, there will be some updates as well and some fixes. So it's not just that it's coming back, but it's coming back in an improved version. So on the 18th, we are going to put this version out onto the open beta branch, which for many of you will mean that it automatically updates because you're still on the open beta branch since the, what was it, the last big update, or the one before that? Anyway, at some point, most of you switched over, at least the hardcore players did. So at that point it will auto-update for most of you who are ready to take a few bugs on while playing normally. And then we are starting at that point the open beta phase and continue polishing and fixing bugs, again with weekly patches or more than weekly patches. And then in mid-February this should all be wrapped up. We should have a finally polished up version, but mid-February might become end of February. It depends on how well things are going, how many issues are popping up, and we are going to patch it until we think it's properly ready for a public release where it auto-updates for everyone. After that is being done, of course we are supporting this version for a week or two at least, also on demand, with patches. And at that point, once everything seems to be okay and running, then we start the development of the Lite Campaign V4, which won't take as long as getting the Lite Campaign V3 all hooked up, because, well, we already have the Lite Campaign V3 in here. It is an update which comes with, for instance, the engineers, the new sales model, and all kinds of other UI improvements. And in general, what this version, the Lite Campaign V3, is lacking is some more intricate UI feedback to the player. One thing I should mention is that you have no guarantee that your save games will, for the Lite Campaign, will work in later versions of this Lite Campaign, because so many things are getting fixed and structures might change and so on. So don't rely on that. And that is also why we have an opt-in phase, which doesn't use any of your old stuff in Sandbox. That is to make sure that nothing of your old stuff gets broken, and you can switch versions whenever you want. You can play this Lite Campaign for a bit and then see if it's for you or not, and if it's not for you, then you just switch back to the old version and everything will still work fine. Also, because of the engine switch, you won't see any of your mods being active while you play this version. On the 18th of January, we are also going to implement the new modding tools and have the creators start updating their mods such that they become compatible to this version. That shouldn't be a hard process overall, but one that needs to be done anyway. During this opt-in phase over the Christmas holidays and up to mid-January, this campaign will be recommended only for the hardcore players of Automation, who are willing to put in the effort of watching the tutorial and then chewing through the lack of UI and so on. But in general it's working. I've been playing a recent test game up to 1990 without any issues, despite my game log being almost 200,000 lines long, and there were plenty of Lua errors in there, none of which I actually saw in game. So it is becoming a lot more robust, which is a great thing actually. So no longer does it automatically just crash whenever you have the slightest hint of a Lua error, and it seems to be working pretty well. So balanced is something else, of course. Balance is going to be handled in the open beta phase, and yeah, it is neither tested nor balanced, so know what you're in for. That should be all you need to know for now, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and then see you early next year with the first patches and a follow-up on development.